So guys, this I hope you enjoy this. This is again a special that we are releasing between Bman and myself on Delay Run. So let's just dive in. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing well. So excited to be at this point of the season, at least at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's and everything, and we you were at Detweiler. We were
Yeah.
both at Detweiler. So man, what there's a lot we can dive into with cross country and stuff, but I know there was a couple of things that you wanted to dive into first, and so what are a couple of things that you think are top of mind to you right now about cross?
Yeah, I mean, well, so we're probably about a month away from the first like meets that are gonna come about. Usually like August, like 20, I think 4th, 5th is usually when some of the first meets are.
Yep.
Usually those meets, not a lot of teams are running, and a lot of teams that do run, they don't run all their runners. So those are good. Those are just like good test meets for the start of the season. So yeah, we'll get to see some good action in a month. But I think people kind of jump in like really fast. They want to hit like those like fast times at the start of the season, and a lot of times they do. And
Hmm.
I'm sure we're gonna see plenty of fast times this season. But I think one of the things I wanted to say, like the start of the season, like definitely in August, but even in September, I think the focus more so should just be like training and just having good experiences through the races, kind of getting into it. Because for a lot of people, it takes a little bit to get into their groove.
Yeah.
Like at least like me and my team in high school, like it took about like 4 or 5 races before we were actually kind of felt like, okay, yeah, we're like a cohesive unit. We feel like we're hitting our stride now.
Yeah.
So I think that's the case of a lot of teams. So, and I think a lot of people tend to get like burned out or like discouraged pretty early
Mm,
if they're not hitting their PR from last year at state,
yeah.
or from like a sectional meet last year, because I mean maybe there's not in that good shape yet. There will be later, or this course that they ran on last year are like super fast and it's hot out now.
Yeah.
So I think like you should mostly just use those races as training
Hmm.
and as just kind of like seeing where you're at, and just enjoy them. I think that's one of the big things I want to touch on for like this whole year. I think people over the last like year or two. I mean, I mean, we've seen like all this heightened like media coverage. And I'm part of that. So I think overall it's good, but I think it's like also putting a lot of pressure on a lot of people to like perform at a high level like all the time.
Hmm.
Like you're
Yeah.
allowed to have bad races. You're gonna
Oh
have bad
yeah.
races. Like
Yeah. I mean,
everybody does.
it's going to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody is going to be perfect all the time.
Yeah.
And, I think what you were saying about the beginning of the season, I mean, I would agree with you. Like, you don't want to be getting your PR in, in August or early September and never hit that again, especially, if you're a part of a team that possibly is going to go to state. The aim is to go to state. So, I mean, of course, getting PRs are great. Hopefully, though, it's kind of one of those where it's not like a little PR, little PR, little PR, and they kind of, gradually get to that point where it's like, wow, you dropped a lot of time this year. So I would definitely agree with that. Like, have fun and run fast. So, like for you, since you've been a part of a cross country team, like what were things that you did to to have fun, or looking back, do you wish you did have fun?
Oh, I had a ton of fun with my team in high school. Like
Yeah.
my junior and senior year cross country seasons were
Mm,
absolutely a blast. Like the guys on my team were like some of my really close friends, and I'm still really close friends with a lot of them.
yeah.
So yeah, we had a blast. I mean, as soon as it's having fun, it was mostly just like joking around with the guys after the race, and even sometimes during the race, like my team, we would sometimes have just like code words during the race. We'd say like to like mess with each other if we're
Yeah.
like, especially if it was like kind of like a lower key meet where we were more so
Mm,
just like either not like tempoing, but kind of if we were kind of the dominant team there, and it was just like easier
sure.
after, we'd just be like kind of messing around with each other the whole time, and then obviously before and after the race. So I mean, in terms of having fun, it was mostly just like focusing on having fun with my teteammates.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Like having that fun with the teammates, and then also like supporting each other. Because there could be some teams that people are aiming for or have their the mark on their back, and those teams don't want to see those teams succeed. So sometimes you have to be able to be like, hey, like we're going to support each other, because there might be some other teams that don't want us to succeed.
Yeah.
you know, so for you, because you do a lot of the you do a lot of rankings, a lot of high schoolers follow here in Illinois and everything, and so like, um, eh, what have you seen like at the beginning, typically at the beginning of the season, and you're like, oh man, maybe that might not have been so good at that point. Maybe it would have been better a little bit later on.
Like in terms of like what certain
Uh,
like teams have done or
yeah, yeah. What teams have done, maybe even times that have been, been
yeah,
ran.
I think I mean I think the thing that sometimes I see is like teams loading up their schedules
Mm.
like doing like 2 meets a week like in
Oh,
like all the time and I don't know I think for some teams that works for them not every team.
yeah,
I mean I don't know. I think there's some teams where it's just like where like they have like two, sometimes even 3 meets a week, and there's some teams they race like once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks. I think both are but both are like kind of I think a little crazy. But I mean, if it
yeah,
really just comes down to like I don't know, like can't like if the athletes can handle it. And that they're gonna peak well at the end of the year, then I think that's great. It's a good strategy. It really just comes down to like what the teams are going to do. But then when you have people like getting upset because like they didn't have a good race on like Saturday, but they had a meet
right,
2 days before. I mean, you just ran like
yeah.
that's part of the thing of just like kind of using the
Mhm.
early part as training and just not taking not taking everything in the early part of the season like so seriously. It's not the end of the season yet.
Yeah, that's true. So, when would you be like, okay, uh, this is a time where you want to start like, okay, really dialing in and focusing, like, at the early part of the season, not taking that so serious, but then like at what point would that transition be for you? What would you think?
I think just that time usually comes around conference.
Mm,
I think it's the majority of teams, but I think that's the time when people like typically like lock in. I mean, like my high school team, that's what we did. Conference was like, yeah, that's the week where we locked in.
yeah.
And then depending on the year, because there were some years when I was in high school where we had a really tough regional, and there were
Mm,
some we had like a joke regional. So like that really depended. Like we either like if it was a joke regional, basically, then we'd take just a workout week. We just do a bunch of workouts and then kind of tempo the regional.
yeah.
And but the years where it wasn't, it was just we went hard at the regional. It was a normal week, and we raced basically all out, and then just got ready for sectionals. But then sectional week is the time where like you really got to tune up. That's when it's go time. That's when things get like really serious because for a lot of
Yeah.
teams, their season. I mean, if they don't make
Yeah.
it. I mean, you see like how many sectional gauntlets they are, like the Lakes 2A sectional last year. I mean, like
Yeah.
if a team has like a slightly bad race, they're not going to state. Like it's
Right.
that competitive and in so many of ththose sectionals. I mean, that's an extreme example,
Yeah.
but that's the case of a lot of places.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting because was it a couple weeks ago you had put something, I think, you put a question on your Instagram about, it was about sectionals. And I think because I reached out to you and I asked you what that was and,
Oh, you mean the
what you were
success
referring,
factor?
what was it?
The success factor, the multiple,
Yes.
like yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a very controversial issue.
Mm,
And I have a variety of thoughts on it. I do see benefits and downsides to it. I mean, it's the IHSA's rule, and I mean, you got to respect that rule. So I'm not saying that they
right.
should get rid of it or that it's like super good or anything. It's like it's their decision. It's like the advisory board. They decide on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are certainly a lot of factors that go into it. I was pointing out that the reason that a lot of the sectionals in some of the classifications are very uneven
Hmm.
is because of some of the teams like the success factors in certain areas because the success factor teams to really hit are teams are in the Chicago area.
Mm,
So for example, the 2A Lake sectional was very highly loaded. It has a lot of great
yeah.
public schools and some private schools, but a lot of great public schools in kind of the north, like the north suburbs area of Illinois. And whereas the Fenton sectional was kind of known as like the weakest sectional in 2A last year was pretty is not really deep at all. But a lot of that was because of the success factor, sending up
Mm,
teams like Peyton and St. Ignatius might have been success factor, or it might have just been like enrollment because they go back and forth. But certainly teams like Peyton, and when even you go back a few teams like Mather, like that were
Mm,
in Chicago, they're really good, but because of their success, they're in 3A now. So
yeah.
that helps make the sectionals quite a bit uneven. And of course,
Yeah. Mm,
the districting has an effect too, but
mm,
that does have a pretty big effect. And I think the biggest example of that is in the Lyle sectional in 1A.
hmm.
Just 3 years ago, when I was a junior in high school, it was like the Harvest Christian sectional that year, but it's the same teams. That
Okay.
section was the hardest sectional in 1A by like a
Mm,
lot. It was the Elmwood sectional is really hard now, usually, and the Elmwood sectional was still good, but that year that we had like that was sectional Northridge was in, which is where I ran for high school, and like
yeah.
4 or 5 of the top 10 teams in 1A were all in that one sectional. We had Latin, DePaul, ACC, Northridge, Timothy Christian.
Mm,
Those were like and then Harvest Christian was also in that top group. Out of those
yeah.
teams, Harvest Christian is the only team that's still in 1A. All the other teams have been sent up to 2A, and DePaul's in 3A now because of the success factor. So now you see a
Wow.
situation where last year and this year is projected to be the Lyle section is projected to be by far the weakest sectional in 1A. So I
Mm,
think that's an example of how the success factor can actually lead to the sectionals being quite a bit uneven in
mm,
some areas. So that's something I wanted to point out because a lot of people a lot of times are complaining about how uneven the sectionals are, and like I just say needs to saying that it needs to do something. And it's just like the people are saying it's like it's unfair, and it's in some cases, yeah. I mean, you can't really do anything about it like at the moment or like during the season.
yeah.
But yeah, the point is there's a lot of factors that come into it that are not just the districting. It's
Mm,
also the classification changes that do have a factor into it.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, some like last year, last year was the first time I had been a part of like the high school scene for cross country, and at the time I was unaware of any of that, because we were a part of the lake sectional, and I was like, wow, there's some really good teams here, and of course, not everybody makes it through onto state, especially I think. If I remember right, on the girls' side, it was pretty competitive as well, and there was some girls teams that were left out because it was just it was a really stacked sectional. So yeah, I can't say I have any answers for the governing body.
Yeah,
To be able to say, hey, you should do this or that. It just it's one of those things that unfortunately right now that's how they do it.
yeah. I think it's just something that more people should be aware of because a lot of people like they see these issues, they see all these things happening and like with all the stuff, but they sometimes don't always realize how it all works. I mean, I got a message today from somebody asking because I posted the 1A boys individual rankings this morning,
Yeah.
and it wasn't really about the rankings that she was asking the question.
Hmm.
She was asking a question that was about like why the classifications are different in track and cross country sometimes, how there's some
Mm.
teams that are in 2A for track that are in
Yeah.
1A for cross country,
Right.
and they tell her that it's just the cutoffs enrollments. It's because it's technically two different sports, even though it's like pretty connected.
Right.
That the enrollments are slightly different. So that can cause like certain teams, like a team like Clinton, for example, they're 2A for track every year, pretty much, but they're 1A
Yeah.
for cross country every year.
Yeah.
So that's an example of a team that can flip between them if they're between the sports.
Yeah, and actually, I was just talking to a coach about that, more so on a middle school level. But they were talking about how like because they were doing a co-op with another school, and that school has a much larger like pool area for like their district or whatnot. So most likely they're going to stay in that higher class where they've been in a lower class previously. So it's just kind of like, trying to get used to that and like understanding, how all of that works. And it's just, it's a little wild sometimes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Um, so for cross, like, cause you've not only you've been on a team, but now you've been doing rankings for a little bit now. How long now have you been doing those?
So I did my first post on Bman's rankings ever was 2 years ago tomorrow.
Okay.
So
2 years ago
yeah,
tomorrow. Hey,
yeah,
there you go. 2 year anniversary.
yeah.
Um, so added, excuse me, added what you've experienced in cross as an athlete, and of course seeing it through the through rankings. What has there been much change in cross country? You feel like, or not much? Things have kind of been the same, or
I
you know,
mean, in terms of how the season goes, I think it's pretty similar every year. Like kind
yeah,
of just the overall pace of the season. It gets like the start of September, end of August. It's just meets kind of popping up random places. Like teams gonna starting to get their people out. Not everybody's racing because of various reasons. SAT testing is some of the
right,
earliest of September, so that can be a factor. And then you start getting to like the Detweiler meets sometimes they can be really fast and sometimes like they're really
hmm,
hot. So like that's usually like a little bit like that fluctuates from year to year, but those usually tend to be big events throughout the season, and then Palatine invites really big and at the end of September, and then at the end of October or the start of October you start getting like less teams start calming down. There's like some nighttime meets like lakes,
yeah,
blah blah blah, April twilight, and then just go straight into conference, and then it's just a lot of teams just going out in conference, and then it's the cutthroat time, regional, sectionals, and
right,
state. It's like every year it seems to go pretty much the same way in terms of the rhythm of the season. In terms of like some differences I've seen, I mean, notice since I was in high school. I mean, obviously the big one's the times. I mean, the times are
yeah,
just absolutely insane.
yeah.
Like it's unbelievable. I mean, like like I was thinking about this, like about like how ridiculous like the all state cutoffs are going to be this year. I mean, how ridiculous
Oh
they were
yeah.
last year, and every classification except possibly 1A girls, I think they're going to be faster by 5 or more seconds.
Mm,
So than they were last year. So
yeah.
and like if you told me when I was a sophomore and in high school, the All-State cutoff in 3A was 14:56.
Okay.
That would be 10 seconds off the All-State cutoff last year in 2A. Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's
like
yeah.
it's insane. I mean, I think that there's some good things, some bad things about that. The level of competition in Illinois has increased, which I think is great. I think so
Yeah.
many, like, a lot of another thing I think is great, and like, some people I think are upset about this of certain teams. I think that like there's been a reshuffling of the deck in terms of like which teams are like really dominating.
Okay.
Last year, we saw a ton of teams like, and it's like they're absolutely great programs, and it's like it's only because they're so great that I'd be even making this point. We saw a ton of teams that have been like doing great for 20, like 30 years, not
Yeah.
make it to state meet. Like teams like St. Charles North, St. Charles
Mm.
East, Wheaton Warrenville South, New Trier, Barrington, Lyons Township. Those teams make it to the state meet. Like usually boys and girls side,
Yeah.
every year. And last year, those teams did not make it to the state meet. So which I
Mm.
thought was very interesting, and like a very interesting like shift. And
Yeah.
in terms of like 3A, the sectionals are pretty even. So I think that was
Mm.
actually, and 3A is doing it pretty even right now, like as
Right.
far from what I can see. So I thought that was a very interesting trend. I think that's overall good. Like seeing a lot of other teams kind of breaking in there. Teams like St. Charles North. That's a team that was like that. I didn't even know there was a St. Charles North. Like I just thought it was St. Charles East because St. Charles East won
Yeah.
the state championship when I was a
Mm.
freshman. But like,
Okay.
yeah, I didn't know there was a St. Charles North. But I think teams like that jumping to the top 10, and yeah, a bunch of other teams like Libertyville, like teams
Mm.
that you don't see a lot,
Right.
like really making their mark, and maybe teams that were historically dominating for the last like 20 years, maybe like taking like a little bit of a backseat sometimes. But those teams can easily jump back right back in. I think many will
Right.
this year. I think it'll be really really interesting just to see a lot of that. I think that's something that I think has changed a little bit since I've been in high school, because I've been in high school. I feel like there was like it was pretty much a similar group of teams every year, and
Yeah.
teams like yeah, especially in the bigger classifications, and 1A and 2A can always fluctuate,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
So what I'm hearing you say then is it's like you've seen maybe the playing field being a little bit more even, like, or distributed almost,
yeah,
like, amongst the teams. And I think that's probably one of the more that we can help get like the sport out there and for people to see like uh what's going on and how much fun it can be, the community, and things like that while they're at dark and all that kind of stuff. The more kids that are willing to like come out and run. because then you get kids that, man, you never thought they would be the ones who'd be getting like these
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
times, you
yeah.
know. So I like that. Like I think that's, that's great. And everything. And so, you know, yeah, I just think that's really good. There was, I was talking with a coach, and we were just talking about the classes. He didn't know too much about like class 1A. But he seemed to know a lot about class 2A and some about like 3A. Um, and we were just talking about maybe the strongest class, amongst, boys and girls, for Illinois. And this particular coach thought it was like definitely 2A. Um, and so I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think two A's ascension has been absolutely insane over the last few years. In terms of individualized, the top 10, top heavy, I would agree. I would have to agree with him. I think the top 10 individuals in 2A this year are better than the top 10 individuals in 3A. It's close, but
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like that really heavy hitters that like I mean, yeah, there's so many guys in 3A too, but in
Right.
terms of like the super heavy hitters, a lot of them are in 2A. I mean, the top three returning times from last year are all from 2A.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's yeah, and it's weird. I mean, I remember when I was in high school, like 2A used to be closer to 1A
Hmm.
than 3A a lot of years.
Yeah.
Over the last years, it's shifted. I think that the 2A and 3A All-State cutoff this year is for individuals for boys is
Yeah.
going to be less than 10 seconds. I think the difference is going to
Hmm.
be less than 10 seconds and could be honestly as little as 5
Wow.
because I think the 3A All-State cutoff is going to be. I mean, I was probably going to do a post like later this summer saying what I think
Yeah.
the All-State cutoff is going to be. I think the All-State cutoff for 3A is going to be about 14:31, and
Hmm.
I think the All-State cutoff for 2A is going to be about 14:38.
Hmm.
Like that's
So that's
it's gonna be close this year,
yeah.
and in terms of the teams too, like certainly there are a lot of 2A teams that are making like great strides. Obviously Dixon can contend with pretty much any 3A team. I mean, like and last year they were, I think, fifth overall out of all the classifications.
Yeah.
If you did like a team merge, and teams like Muhammad Seymour and Deerfield would have been in the top 15 too. So there's some
Hmm.
2A teams that can really mix it up with 3A teams, but definitely
Yeah.
individually this year, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
They're 2A guys the top 10 guys in 2A can contend with any guys in 3A.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it interesting because I remember last year, um, I was out. I wasn't talking directly to a coach, but I had overheard some of the comments, and somebody had expressed how there was a little bit of a different of style of running between like 2A and 3A. Like this particular person thought that 3A, they're more like, all right, from the gun, we are going. Like
Mhm.
you're just gonna go, and you're just gonna rip it.
Yeah.
Where 2A wasn't necessarily always like that. Not that they can't be, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Do you, in what you've covered, have you seen that sort of difference or anything?
Yeah, I think generally 3A is definitely more take it from the gun. I mean, because
Hmm.
usually it has more heavy hitters.
Yeah.
This year I think it's gonna be pretty similar. I mean,
Okay.
last year I think the 3A just talking about boys here. The 3A definitely went out a little bit faster than
Yeah.
2A. Um, but I think with some of the heavy hitters in the field in 2A this year, I think it's gonna be pretty similar.
Hmm.
I think the times that they go out and will be pretty similar, and I think and the ending times are gonna be pretty similar too. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like in 3A but in 2A honestly it's congested now too. In 3A
Yeah.
for a long time it's so congested that you have to get out fast, otherwise you're gonna get boxed in and you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
A lot of times. 2A
Hmm.
it's getting like that too. Honestly, I mean, I had some friends in the 2A race last year on my high school team that they got boxed in really badly.
Hmm.
Like they were way back in the mile, and like they just were not able to move up enough to get the places that they wanted. That's
Yeah.
just it just happens. Like the field is so congested.
Yeah.
So I think in 2A it's going to be a similar story this year to 3A.
Yeah. Well, and that makes a lot of sense. You're trying to get out. Of course, if it's at state, for instance, and you're trying to get one of those placements, and you don't want to be boxed in. You don't want to be
Yeah.
congested within them. So you try and get out. And with some of those heavy hitters that will be in 2A, like they're going to be pushing
Yeah.
the pace, and you're like, I got to get out. I don't want to get stuck. So of course that would lead to those getting out faster than maybe previously in the past, and everything. So you know now there are like we were just talking about there are a lot of heavy hitters in 2A
Yeah.
on the boy side. Like there's just there's just a
It's
lot.
comical. It's really
Yeah,
funny. Yeah.
it is. I just had Ben Gorsuch on the
Yeah.
podcast, and we were talking, and he just mentioned that, and I was unaware that he's in 2A,
Yeah. Yeah, because
and
he's one
so
of those teams that goes. He's in 3A for track, but 2A for cross.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh man, you're into, so like there's a lot of good guys,
Yeah.
right? And so do you see that same thing like on the girl side? I mean, last year, I mean, I felt like there was some girls that were just above, right? Just
Yeah.
above.
Yeah. There were two girls that kind of broke away last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Sunny was definitely one of those
Yeah. She was
girls.
in
This
1A
is,
last year
yeah.
for cross. Yeah.
Yeah, and then about Isabella Keller, I thought she hung in there. I think she's a great runner. But like as far as like the other having that depth, I guess. Do you see that same thing on the girl side?
For all the classifications, or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
or
for 3A girls, I think 3A girls is exceptionally deep. It's going to be
mm,
like exceptionally deep this year. It's 3A girls is going to have it's going to be very top heavy, but also it's going to have some good depth. So,
mm,
but I mean, it's the biggest classification. 2A girls and 1A girls are a little bit of an enigma this year. I mean, like 1A, Isabella Keller, they hopefully will be coming
mm.
back. I think she had like a hip surgery a few months
Oh,
ago.
okay.
So I think that's why she didn't run during
The
track. That's what
track.
I was told. But obviously, hopefully she comes back for cross, and I think she will. I think she
Yeah.
should be. Like, there's 1A last year was full of so many heavy hitters. Like three of them went to NXN, so like very
Yeah.
heavy hitters. That this year, there certainly are some girls that could be up there and be like heavy hitters, not quite to the level of last year, I think.
Yeah.
But it seems like in 1A this year, it's Isabella Keller is the class of the field, and then it's just a bunch of other girls are just going to be going after
Yeah.
second. The
Yeah.
depth I don't think is going to be maybe not quite as good as it was last year, but still decent. 2A girls I think is going to have some pretty solid depth too. That one is going to be strange and uncertain because I think a lot of like certainly there's some teams individuals that had some injuries during track and
Right.
maybe didn't have like quite the season that people expected them to have. But yeah, who knows? But it's a different season, so we'll see how they
Yeah.
do during cross. Like Prairie Ridge, some of the girls come to
Mm.
mind. They had a very dominant cross country season last year, getting third after like not even making it to state the year before. So I mean, but and like they kind of look like the class of the field based off last cross season,
Right.
but like their track season seems like a lot of them weren't healthy.
Hmm.
So yeah, well, I mean that's the kind of thing we'll have to see.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely hoping that they're all healthy and ready to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think two A should think for girls should be pretty similar to last year in terms of depth. I think.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. With her senior year coming up, Mia, I would say right now, like she's the one that, as far as on the girl side, is
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
know, has a lot of people eyes on her, and she's got some lofty goals.
Yeah.
And one of those goals is to be in contention to win like NXN,
Yeah.
which would be, I mean,
It's
it'd be
huge.
thrilling. It'd be huge.
Yeah.
And if she did, we would all rightfully so be celebrating.
Yeah.
That she's from Illinois and all that kind of stuff. But um, so with somebody like that, sometimes I wonder, like our eyes taken off of somebody else who could be hiding in the shadows in a
Yeah.
sense.
Oh yeah. There are
you
some
know,
people that fit the bill. There's people there who get slept on hard.
yeah,
One of them is name's Carlin Janowski. She's the
mhm,
defending state champion
yeah,
From York.
Yeah.
People are going to sleep on her hard. They forget that she ran 16:10 last year, and
Mm.
nobody was talking about her coming into the season. She did
Yeah.
not have a good freshman track season, but she turned up really, really good during cross. I think she's going to break 16 this year. I think
Yeah.
she might. I think she could challenge for the previous state record. I think Mia will probably break her own record again.
Yeah.
I think I'd be pretty shocked if she doesn't. But I think that someone like Carlin could also get like under like or close to the previous record of
Hmm.
decently under 16. I mean, because like her track season this year compared to what it was a year ago is like miles above. So yeah,
Mm.
people definitely need to look at her. Some people completely counted her out last year. That was a big
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah.
Um, and then you need to look at like the biggest surprise of the track season. What they, despite like a state record by Mia Serwa, and
Hmm.
like her like in like the 2 mile and 5Ks, that wasn't the biggest shock of the track season. The biggest shock of the track season was Cara Glenn pulling off
Yeah.
the greatest state meet performance I've ever seen in,
Yeah.
in my life
She,
at state.
and
Like,
I forget all the events that she won, but I do remember seeing her come up multiple times
yeah.
for different events.
Oh yeah,
Um,
she won the 800. She anchored her team in the 4x8
and
to
if,
a
yeah.
win and a state record, a massive state record too. And she won the mile, and she was second in the 3200 to Mia, but out of the slow
Mm.
heat.
Okay.
So
At a slow heat.
out of the slow heat, yeah, early in the day, she ran like a
Yeah.
solo. She ran a solo like 10-11, like
Okay.
earlier in the day. But
Yeah.
that was like kind of her warm up. She didn't like flat
Yeah.
shoes. So yeah, that
Wow.
kind of seemed like her warm up for the day. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Eight times a warm up,
That,
but
yeah, that's wild. I
yeah,
mean, that's kind of like, Chaz, who won his state from the
yes.
slow heat,
Yeah,
and everything. So yeah, but of course, Kara, she had an incredible weekend that weekend.
yeah.
And I think if I remember, she was having a pretty solid cross season last
Mhm.
year, and
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
may
she would have
experience some injury or something.
yeah, she would have challenged for the state title if she was healthy, I think. I mean,
Mm.
I think her PR was 16:19. She ran a really good
Okay.
sprint and she beat Carlin at that race. So I
Mm.
don't know if she would have beaten Carlin at state, but I mean that would have been awesome because both of them have amazing kicks. So that would have been
Yeah.
fun to see. But yeah, she definitely would have been contending
Mm.
for that title. And like either both of them are like both incredible athletes that if there wasn't like a Mia Serwa in the field. Like, I mean, most years you don't have a Miyasuwa caliber
Right.
athlete. Like if like in most other years they would be the clear favorite to win a state championship. Like
Yeah.
like most years it does not take sub 16 to win a state championship. I think if assuming Carglin has had some injury issues in the past, hopefully she's healthy this season. If
Right.
she's healthy, I think we should see all three of them under 16. Like if they're all healthy, that which
Yeah.
would be crazy. So
That
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, that I mean that would be that yeah, I mean I know that would be a race that I'd like to see. You know, depending of course how the season goes and everybody stays healthy and everything. I know last year one that I was excited to see was the Sunny and Isabella race. And I don't want to count out Foltz either cuz she was the
yeah,
defending
yeah,
1A
she,
champion
mhm,
and you know she got both of them in her class,
yeah,
so it was kind of like oh man. But I was hoping she would. I mean, not that she did poorly. She just, just it is what it
yeah.
is,
This
and
wasn't it just she had an absolutely insane race the year before. And like I don't even think she ran bad at the state meet last year. I think it's just like
no.
her performance the year before was just so unbelievable. Like that was I remember when I was at college, I was looking at the live results. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go that year. And like
Hmm.
when I saw her like 50-59, I thought it was a glitch. Like because I knew it was possible like for her to like run a really fast time, but I did not. I was so shocked to see her beat Isabella by that much that year.
Yeah.
So I think she just had such a crazy junior year, and like sometimes not everybody's progression is linear. People go back and
Right.
forth.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
I don't even think she ran that bad last year. I think it was just that she just had an insane junior year, and that just
Yeah.
her senior year just wasn't like quite as crazy. Even though
Yeah.
many years 1630, a lot of years went to 1A. So
Yeah.
I mean, by no means was yeah was she running bad last year.
Yeah. Yeah. And she like I said, she didn't run horrible. She didn't run bad. It just it is what it is, and she ran some. I mean, she did good. So at least I think she did. And so, um, how about you know, so we talked about that. What do you think about any like incoming freshmen maybe that you're like, man, I think this gal or this girl boy, you know, they may surprise some people or you know
Yeah.
do well.
Yeah, I mean I have I have a somewhat controversial opinion when it comes to some of the like ranking freshmen.
Hmm.
Um, I don't rank like incoming freshmen preseason in the usual rankings.
Hmm.
If they hit like the standards I've set up in terms of like time to just like show their dominance, they can be in the dark horse category. Like,
Sure.
but like, even if they have times that match up with some of the high schoolers, because I think that like because like they haven't run a high school race yet. I think you should kind of like at least I think I should like let them kind of like run a few high school races, and then if they're running great, yeah, put them in the rankings totally.
Yeah.
But I think that like the people should definitely calm down off them a little bit. I think people put way too much pressure on the freshmen, like
Yeah.
generally, like teams like and just people it's like everybody covering the sport like sometimes puts too like this is not just an Illinois thing. I think a national thing
Right.
too. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like too much. I think that like people are like developing these middle schoolers too fast. A lot of these middle schoolers are peaking in like middle eighth grade or freshman year. Like I know some people that's happened
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like personally. So I think
Well.
that we shouldn't be putting as much pressure on on these freshmen
Yeah.
as we do. But I mean, but I think there's certainly some that are going to make a huge impact this year. I mean, the big name in terms of the girls' side, Molly Mako. She's going to
Oh
Glen
yeah.
Barbara West. She's
Yeah.
very talented
Yeah.
middle schooler. They like ran like a 4:52 mile
Mm.
in middle
Yeah.
school. So I think she'll definitely make a big impact on the 3A scene. Definitely help her
Yeah.
team out a lot. And like Hazel Atkins
Mm.
in 1A, she's going to Shelbyville. She
Yeah.
actually beat Molly Mako at the state
Yep.
championship last year. That was a big upset. That was like
Yeah.
I thought I was shocked.
I
It was a really cool
remember.
finish video too.
Yeah,
I really like that video.
I was there and
Yeah,
I remember watching that. I was surprised. I mean, it wasn't like she blew her out of the water.
yeah,
It was a close race
yeah.
and
It was a cool the photo at the end. That was really cool.
yeah, and Hazel, you know, she just got her just, you know, a little bit and it was like I said, it wasn't like she blew her out of the water. You know, Molly. There was no reason for Molly to hang her head that day. She, you know, it is what it is. And but it was a great finish.
Yeah,
At that particular race, yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
And
So
then and then there's like some other like Bentley Lawrence on the boys side is a great middle schooler. I think he ran as far as I know the fastest
mm,
like 3 mile time for a freshman at Detweiler Dark. Like the
okay.
fast time that's been run at Detweiler Dark for a freshman. I believe he beat Braden Delmont's time from last year by a few seconds.
Oh,
So like
okay,
that was a big performance by him, and obviously he was amazing in middle school. So I mean, kind of
sure.
expected him to be great coming in like 425 miler.
Mm.
But yeah, he'll definitely help out that already stacked Dixon team. Um, probably win another state championship this year. But
I mean, you know,
and then you got other guys like Jackson Rupiper in
mhm,
1A. That's going to make a
yep,
big help on IVC, who's actually
yep,
usually a 2A team, but they're moving down to 1A this year. So
yeah,
I think he ran like a 4:33 in middle
yeah.
school. So he should be a guy that has a big impact
Yeah,
on
because
the scene.
he challenged Bentley at the state level, you know, the middle school state level, and that weekend. I mean, yeah, of course Bentley still won, but Rupert was right there, you know, right there with him. He seemed like a gutsy runner, you know, going out there and everything. So, um, you know, you were just talking about how like maybe some middle schoolers like peaking, you know, in middle school and you know running these crazy times uh and I have thought about that and I'm like man like how you know somebody like he's not in our state he's in North Carolina, Luke Surface,
Mhm.
who man run I mean has some incredible times and actually I was just talking we were talking a little bit about it with Abe and how he's gotten a lot of these times running with older kids, high school kids, and everything and like there's a difference between being able to run those fast times in like with older students versus like having a race like racing like a racing strategy, like the difference there. And so, and I think I lean more towards like, in middle school, there's probably not a lot of strategy that's talked about.
Yeah.
You just go out there and
Yeah. You guys figured things out. Yeah. It's
yes, exactly. And so high school, you get there now you're not necessarily racing somebody who is in middle school. Of course you're now racing juniors, seniors who are 17, 18 years old, and you can't use that same strategy. And so like I would tend to agree with you in the sense that putting ranking a high schooler freshman right out the gate is
yeah.
probably not the I wouldn't go about doing that,
Yeah.
just because they just, I mean, yes, great in middle school,
Yeah.
and that we
Can't take
applaud
that.
that.
They were great. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great. I just like in high school is just a different thing. You're adding a mile. You're now running against comparatively, men and stuff who are juniors and seniors, and it's just kind of like they've put in work. They have longer run age. Their bodies are different, so it's just kind of like like I would have that same thought as far
Yeah,
as
I think sometimes it's almost like unfair to them because they haven't like proven themselves on the high school scene yet, and
yeah,
you should let them figure it out,
yep,
and like a lot and especially a lot of times like with like the freshmen coming out the gate, sometimes the first meets of the season they're way back, and that's
yeah,
okay. Yeah. And a lot of times then they jump up at the end of the season, they start dropping time like crazy, like
yeah,
40-second PRs, like at sectionals in the state meet, like that's very very common,
yeah.
for freshmen.
And I would think that as if I were a coach, right? Like that's what I would want to see. Just because like, okay, they've dropped 40 seconds or a minute from the time they started their freshman season to whatever point in the season they get to. Cause then to me, it's like, okay, they're willing to put the work in. Now they understand what it's like to run in a high school cross country race, a little bit longer and all those kind of things. So as a coach, I think that's what I would lean towards, is wanting to see that happen. And if I did rankings, which I don't, I'm not necessarily interested in doing rankings because I don't dive into I just don't have the time to do all the numbers and look at all that stuff. But they're fun to look at and they're fun to like kind of debate and, and everything. So, I just think those are funny. Um, Going back to you, I don't know if you know this. I was interested because it was again from another conversation, but you brought it up about Dixon having potentially a very good team again this year and everything. Has there ever been a team uh, that has had six runners under 15 that
In
you are
terms of
aware of?
in 2A or just in
Yeah,
general?
or two, just in general.
DGN has, I think a couple
Okay.
years ago, I believe they did have six guys under it. I think they definitely had six. I think their seventh guy was like just over it, but there have been
Oh,
some
okay.
teams that have six guys under 15. I don't know if it's ever been done in 2A.
Yeah.
It might have. I know there was a team. I don't know the exact time. There's a team from Muhammad Seymour 10 years ago
Mm.
that made it to NXN. I think they
Okay.
had five guys under 15.
Mm.
I think Dixon actually they had the fastest team time until
Mm.
Dixon broke it this year or or
Okay.
2025 by like a second.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
in 2A, I believe so. I'm not 100% sure on that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think there have definitely been some teams that have gotten that number of
Mm.
people under 15.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I mean, uh, that would be a great like kind of goal to shoot for. I mean, if you have the guys to be able to do that, like, I mean, that to me, that's like,
Yeah, that's nuts,
that'd
but
be
it's possible. Yeah.
insane. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be certainly, insane, and everything. So, um, well, I don't, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on?
I mean, yeah, I mean, a couple of things. I mean, in terms of like, because a lot of people have like questions about like the ranking and stuff. That's part something I want to say about that. Like it's for people's enjoyment. Like
Yeah.
it's for I do it because I enjoy doing it, and I know people enjoy looking at it.
Yeah.
That's why I do it. It's for enjoyment. Obviously, like I put work into it, and I'm confident. I'm just yeah generally confident in them. I stand by my rankings.
Hmm.
So like, and I'm yeah, I'm always willing to like talk about them with anyone.
Yeah.
But like, but in the end, but it's still just my opinion, just the same way anybody else's rankings are theirs. So
Right.
people shouldn't let that like dominate their season. Shouldn't let their rankings dominate their season. It's they're supposed to be fun, and they can be like I hope some are encouraged by them. That's great. I hope
Right.
it's like guess getting just giving more coverage. I like the dark horse rankings, like
Hmm.
doing that because giving a lot more like putting focus on some people that aren't always talked about. Some people I think could
Right.
jump up this year.
Yeah.
Um, like I think that's all good, but I think yeah, people in general just like sometimes you just stop like taking it like a little bit too seriously.
Yeah.
Like occasionally not let that like dominate like all the stuff they're all like the stuff they're thinking about
Yeah.
like right now. And the thing I like say like and then you always got I mean and everything's has this like the trolls that are like sleeping like you're sleeping. I love
Yeah.
the message to everybody like. And it's always I mean like always fun every year is seeing okay what did I get wrong, what did I get right, and but I just want to say the people that prove me wrong are usually not the ones in the comment section saying you're sleeping on them. Let's just say that the people there are definitely people that prove me wrong, but they're the people that just see it, okay, and just grind and put in the work. The people
Yeah.
that are they're talking a lot of crap. We saw this during some times with the during the track season with some teams dropping some marks at sectionals and then
Yeah.
like basically talking crap about everybody and like how they're going to win the state meet and they don't make it out of prelims. Like,
Yeah.
like the team, I think that the teams that just grind, they're putting the work in. Like whether they look at the rankings, whether they look at the rankings or not, like just not letting that affect them. The teams that they grind and just
Right.
and just show out and peak well at the state meet. Those are the teams that are turn some heads and like shock everybody and like
Yeah.
feed expectations.
Yeah. No, that's,
Yeah.
I like those I like those kind of runners. The ones that they may see it and they use it more as motivation. They don't say anything. They just go out and put the
Yeah.
work in and
Yeah.
try to be consistent.
Yeah.
At least in my experience, those who seem to do all a lot more talking than normal,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, well, okay, well, let's see.
Yeah. My
The
favorite.
proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. My favorite comment of all time on one of my posts is I think one of my state predictions for I think for 1A girls in 2024. I believe it was Paxton Buckley Loda. I had them 24th
Yeah.
coming into the 1A state meet, and then a bunch of the people on their team got like were decided to go trolling in my comments. They comment my favorite one silly Bman, and what happened at state they got 24th, and
Oh.
they ran great, but like the comments like hilarious because yeah silly me.
Well, and that's I guess if you do make comments, you just gotta realize, is that going to age well?
Yes. Yeah,
Is it going to age
there
well?
are plenty that don't. There are
Yeah.
plenty that don't.
Yeah.
Those are entertaining. I love going back and forth with people. It's like it's really funny. Some of the comments make my day. Some of the DMs like make my day. But yeah.
Oh man. So, out of curiosity, like, have you like kept any sort of tally, like, out of to see like how your rankings have turned out, like, the
Yeah.
predictions as far as
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I usually after the state meet, I usually go through and kind of see like the stuff I got right, stuff I got wrong, like
Mhm.
so I can improve on like the next year. Last year, I think my individual rankings, I was happy with how my team rankings turned out last year. I thought I got a lot of things. I mean, obviously you can't get everything right, but I was
Right.
really happy with how those turned out last year, especially because the classification changes.
Mm.
There are a lot of classification changes last year, and that can like mix some things up and make some things harder to evaluate.
Right.
In terms of some of the team side, I was a little bit displeased with like how some of my rankings turned out,
Mm.
especially in 3A.
Yeah.
3A individuals, I was not very happy with how my rankings turned out there last year. So I think I was Yeah, I don't think I was kind of like a preconceived notion for how it was going to go a little bit. Like and how I made them last summer.
Yeah,
And I think I wasn't looking at like all the data and the way that I should have. And I think I've fixed that a little bit this year. I'm much more confident that that this year's are gonna turn out a lot better
mm,
in terms of the individuals, in terms of
yeah,
the individual icons. And individual icons are really hard because
yeah,
not every
yeah,
it's not always linear. It can go any order. But
yeah,
yeah, I think there were some things that there were like certain like things like during the track season that I don't think I took into effect last year.
yeah.
But I think I took much more so into effect this year. Yes, definitely in the big classification.
Okay,
But yeah, those are some things that yeah I like to tweak around with. I mean, yeah, I do go back and like compare like how I did, and yeah, usually it's like usually it's only a few places off, like
sure.
usually in terms of like the team side, and yeah, I mean, it's always fun going through seeing what you got right and seeing what you got
Yeah.
wrong.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
Uh, that'd be a part of the fun.
yeah,
And then also just, reemphasizing like what you said, a lot of times the rankings can be somebody's
yeah,
opinion
hmm
based off information that they've received.
yeah,
So, it's kind of one of those things. Other, like I said, they can be fun. I like looking at them just to kind of see, and just like, oh,
yeah,
who's this guy?
yeah, yeah,
And stuff. So, yeah. But man, that's awesome. You know, I was just thinking, it'd be great maybe for you and I to do this again sometime in the season
yeah,
and just
yeah,
talk
totally,
about like what's
yeah,
what we're seeing,
yeah,
because of course you go to yours and you get your coverage and stuff, and I saw you have an intern that's going to be helping you,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome, that's great,
yeah.
and of course I'll be out here. We got some meets that we'll be at and everything. So,
Mhm.
and just kind of sharing what we see and all those kind of things. So that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. It was a
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah. No, it was great. So, you know, uh, B man, is that okay? I call you B man.
Yeah. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Because some
I
people
joke
are like,
sometimes with
oh,
my
call
friends that I have that I have two identities. Like
right.
some people know me as B man, some people know me as Brennan. So
Yeah.
it's like I joke that like I like that when like if I go from if I'm covering a meet and then I go hang out with my friends, I like switch. I like in the drive between the two places, I like switch between my two identities.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But it's funny you say that because like yeah, there have been some people who call me Andale,
Yeah.
and they thought that was my actual name. And
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, no, well, it's not really my name.
Yeah.
But they they've called me that. And then some people who just don't know because maybe they haven't seen the word or heard the word, but they like have butchered it. And I was like, no, it's andale. It's just andale. Like so.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's all good. So anyway, man, thank you so much. I do look forward to like just in the future having some more
Yeah.
conversations like this about cross or about running
Yeah.
in general. In Illinois, I do want to say I personally think Illinois is probably one of the best states
Oh yeah. Oh
for
yeah.
distance running,
Yeah.
representations and like the depth that we have throughout the state
Yeah.
is just it's
Yeah.
great. So
We're gonna see the depth. We're gonna see the depth this year. It's gonna be it's gonna be an exciting season.
yeah, it sure is. So, hey guys, I just thank you so much for joining B Man and myself on this special podcast. And if you see him out, say hi. If you see
Yeah.
me out, just say hola, and I will say that to you. But we hope you have a great week. And man, just enjoy these last few weeks of summer and have fun now and as you go into cross season. So we will talk to you guys later and have a great rest of your week.